What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we have a video for a modification for the BBS RSs. Now, as you guys can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be doing floating center caps. And inside this box we have a package from Visual Autowerks right here. He makes a kit for the BBS RSs. And I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Mike. I've had these sitting around probably since March of this year, and I've just never got around to doing it. I don't know why, because it doesn't take a crazy long time. I'm excited to finally have the floating center caps for shows where you post it up, they're all going to be level. So let's get on to the install of that. So in this kit, you get the centering tool, which is very needed to make sure it is perfectly fitted. And then you get 4 double-sided sticky tape circles. That way you can mount the center cap to the floating pieces, which are these, which come already assembled, ready to go. They have the counterweight on it. And let's see if I can do it. There you go. They're already centered, ready to go. But the first thing you need to do is you need to pop out the center piece right here out of the hex. And as you can see, it already has a plate on the back. And the easiest way possible is you're gonna kind of heat this up with just a little bit, because this already has double-sided tape onto it. So you need to separate the red from this back piece, and then that is where this comes into play, which you'll be mounting it to the back of the red piece onto the floating. Very simple. It is a pretty do-it-yourself kit. That was a little bit easier than I thought it was going to be. I did a little bit different. The trim tool actually ended up working out, and I think we got lucky, boys, especially on this one. Typically, it does not come off like this. Not that I've seen anyways. So once I have it all cleaned out, you can kind of see there's a lip in this particular one, and it'll allow this to straight up just sit in there. And you see where the arrow is? Arrow is the up. So this is going to be the tricky part. This has to be the absolute most centered piece, or it's not going to look right, because it's going to be tilted like this or this every single time it's centered. So I'm going to put a little piece of tape, I think, to center it. That way I can have something to line up to the arrow on there. That's the way I think it's going to work the best. If you might have another idea, it might be best, put it down in the comments to help someone out. From what I hear, this tape is extremely sticky, so I'm going to be very careful with this. You only get one real shot, I hear. Man, they were not kidding when they say this stuff is tacky. But alright, so now's the moment of truth of centering this onto that cap. Give it a few good pushes. Make sure it's really stuck on there. You should be able to pop it out though. And there you have it. This is pretty simple doing it that way, I feel like, because it looks pretty straight on. Then once you do that, it should pop back into this just like it's supposed to. There it goes. Just like that, it is installed. So one thing I did do off camera is I put the piece inside here, and it was just catching just enough where it wasn't allowing it to spin. So all I did was I got my Dremel, I mounted it in here, and just drilled it out a little bit just to give it just enough room to spin. And it should be just like that. Where before it was starting to catch on some things and get caught up and wasn't actually balancing straight. I got them all installed now, and they all spin flawlessly. Some I've noticed do spin better than others though. Like the bearing or something is more free, I'm not sure. But after I did that little bit of grinding you guys saw, they all spin perfectly. They don't get hung up on anything anymore. And it's perfect. And I should have done these a long time ago in the year, because I've literally had them for quite some time. But now I don't have to turn them manually when I park at shows, or anywhere I park now, they will be perfectly. Now that we're done installing the floating center caps, if you guys are new here, make sure you guys subscribe. But the vlog ain't over yet. I'm gonna show you guys our buddy's car that we just bagged that is coming down to Gatlinburg with us. Obviously, it's missing a couple things. They're getting it prepped still for Gatlinburg. But this thing we just bagged a couple days ago, and this thing sits perfectly. He still needs the drop knuckles, I believe he said, for the rear. But even that, it still sits very nicely. I just love Miatas. They're so small. They're like mini golf carts. But once he gets that drop knuckle and it can really like tuck like the front, this thing is going to be perfect. Sitting perfect. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to showcase that in there just because I thought this was really sick. And he's hyped on the bags and it just looks awesome. But the next step is we're gonna have to get these tires into the truck, get the wheels loaded in. And if any of you guys were ever curious about my patch, I literally wear sidewall. Even though a lot of you guys watching this video are probably going to not be a fan of the stance kind of style. But I like it, it's not for everybody. But it's definitely time for these. I made sure I got majority of the life out of those. For anyone curious, I do run a 225, 35, 18 stretched onto my 11 wide PBSs. I'll catch you guys in the morning. So it's actually way later than the next day, guys. That was recorded the night before we left for Gatlinburg, and let me tell you, things got a little hectic. I was recording that video with the intent to post it right before we left for Gatlinburg, so a lot of parts actually got left out, just for the fact of it wouldn't make sense because Gatlinburg's over with. The car did perfect in Gatlinburg, and the floating center caps have been perfect. A lot of people actually noticed them while we were cruising on the strip. No issues there, no issues with them falling out or loosening up or anything. So that's sick. I'm gonna leave a link to Visual Autowerks down in the description. That way if you guys wanna pick them up for your set of wheels, click the links. They don't have to be BBS. He makes them for all different kinds of wheels. Or I think he does custom, so if he doesn't make them for your wheel, he's willing to make a set for your wheels, which is sick. But like I said, I'll leave that down in the description. Check it out. But as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay stancy.